How we doing tonight, folks? All right, when you come on, I'm going to allow anybody that wants to talk tonight to talk. So as attendees come on, this is going to be important. I'm going to allow you to jump on, and if you want to talk, folks, I'm going to allow you to talk. So we can go back and forth, play pitch and catch. Tonight we're talking, there we go. Catalyst for explosion in your business. Share on my timeline, go live. If it works like it should, we're going to be in good shape. Hope you guys had a great Sunday, a great couple days off. Okay. All right. There you go. Host and panelists, everyone. What's up, Jamie? How we doing tonight? If you want to turn your cameras on, folks, feel free. Okay. Attendees, like I said, I'm going to go through and allow anybody who wants to talk. You would just unmute yourself there. Oh, I see what we got. Disable talking. There we go. Now we're going. Now we're doing it. Oh, disable talking. No, I don't want to do that. All right, there we go. There we go, folks.
Hey, Coach, it's Eric Tibbs. How are you doing?
How we doing tonight?
Doing great, Coach. Yourself?
Rick Short, how you doing, sir? Sherry Morgan Jones, Michelle Fuller. Look at all these folks joining. Sacramento, Mark Kemp, Melinda Johnson. Starting to pick up some steam here.
Evening, Coach.
Evening, Coach. Good to see you.
Tom Gavin.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry I missed you at Octavia
John
Convention.
Harlow, how you doing, sir? John, I think I've got the right John that I emailed the other day. I don't know if you're with Train. I hope so. I was thinking it was you, but I wasn't sure.
What's up, Coach? Chris Longren from 8% Nation.
All right, Victoria.
What's up,
Chris, how you doing, sir?
Doing great, man.
Celia Jackson, look at her coming out of Texas.
Hey, Coach
Morgan
Burt.
Jones, how you doing?
Hey, Coach.
Springfield, Missouri.
Lori here. Thanks for doing this tonight.
Right.
Yes, sir. Super excited. Super excited.
I really like the difference between praise and encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Praise
Super
is,
excited.
I've noticed them.
Super
Praise is the
excited.
result. I really like the difference between praise and encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Praise
Super
is,
excited.
I've noticed them.
Super
Praise is the
excited.
result.
All
I
right.
really like the difference between praise and encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Praise is, I've noticed them. Praise is the result.
All right.
Praise and encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Praise is, I've noticed them. Praise is the result.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, no worries. I'm letting people jump on, and then I'm shutting down some other things that were up. All right, no worries. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on, and then I'm shutting down some other things that were up. All right, no worries. All right, I'm gonna turn that Facebook off so you can't hear that. All right, no camera, no worries. All right, we got a few minutes before we get started. You guys, are there certain things that you want to get from tonight that you want to ask me? All right, there's certain things you want to get tonight, guys, from me. Just make sure you post in the comments, in the chat. I've got 5 big things we're going to be talking about tonight on how to really explode a business. And my guess is you're here because you are probably frustrated. If you watch my video on Facebook just a few minutes ago, you saw that we're kind of talking about how do you get frustrated enough to take an action? How do you get tired of getting the same results over and over? How do you get to a point where it's never going to be like you're operating on every cylinder? Maybe not, but how do you get to the point where you say, man, enough's enough? I'm ready to explode this business. I'm tired of being amateur league. I'm tired of getting to the same point every year. I'm tired of playing amateur ball, folks. I'm sure there's somebody in your business, by the way, that you look at that is doing significantly better than you. I'm sure there's somebody in your business, and you are that is doing significantly better than you. I'm sure there's somebody in your. Close it out. And you're sitting there and you're going, man, I know I can do better than this. I know I can play at a higher frequency than this. I know I can explode this business. So tonight in this webinar, that's really what we're going to cover. 5 ways to explode a business. And we're going to look at the business structure that you have, because some of you are quite frankly in a business that you can't explode. There's a ceiling for a reason. There could be a ceiling because there's just nowhere to go, man. Many businesses can be exploded, though, if you just step back and look at the business model. Remember this, and Kiyosaki used to say this: every business is designed before there is a business. A poorly designed business has to be redesigned. How many of you think you need to redesign your business? I was telling a guy at a party last night, man, when I started my business, I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have an explanation of value. I didn't have a selling system. I just went out there and did it, man. And business led to business, led to business. Then one day I woke up and I'm like, man, how am I going to scale this business? How am I going to explode this business? And along the way, there were some key things that opened my eyes, right, to doing it. And that's kind of what we're going to break down tonight. We're going to try to make this a little bit more scientific. Okay. Natalie said, I can't go any further in my business without coaches. Good. The frustration is just misguided enthusiasm. Okay. Frustration is just misguided enthusiasm. And at the end of the day, that frustration is a good thing, right? Always remember, it's a good thing. The frustration is a good thing because the frustration is going to prompt me to take an action. Okay. And that is very, very critical to this equation. All right, let's get started tonight, folks. If you want to type in a chat box tonight, we've got a chat. I've got this webinar going on. We're all recording this, putting it on Facebook. We will be pushing it out to the marketplace. As you know, my name is Coach Micheal Burt. You probably follow me at some point, or you know, you've been following my work at some point. At 31 years old, I had written 4 books, and I retired from athletic coaching to start a business. Right. I had worked on my doctorate for 3 or 4 years, studying in organizational management and leadership. I studied Malcolm Baldrig's winners as part of my coursework. And so really what I did for 4 years, and some of the worst misery I've ever gone through, was studying great businesses and how they work and how a business should be set up. How do businesses explode? How does one business explode and another one not explode? And so at 31 years old, I started coaching business people with an emphasis and a focus on driving top line revenue. And what I found during that period was that I could take good people, add a system, add coaching, add an environment, add a lot of prey drive, and I could get some kind of consistent result, just like I did with a sports team. And so along the way, for 12 or 13 years, I'm going inside businesses, everything from, any business you can imagine. And I'm watching how these businesses are working. And it's like, Okay, this business went from 20 million to 40 million in 1 year. This business went from here to here. They call those, by the way, hockey stick moments. And hockey stick moments are moments where you just explode. It's like you're going like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, maybe a little spike, right? Many people have a spike and then they have a dip and then they have a spike and then they have a dip. And then somewhere along the way, boom, and the business just explodes. It's like, what happened, man? We just exploded. Well, here's the sad reality of this. Less than 4% of small businesses will ever break $1 million of revenue, right? Less than 4% of small business will ever break $1 million of revenue. And when I wrote the book, Single Digit Millionaire, what I was really saying was, you're not going to have a net worth of $1 million or greater if your own business doesn't even make $1 million. Okay. So the whole concept was, how do we get a business to where it's making over $1 million a year? You become a single digit millionaire and then ultimately a double digit millionaire. But here's the sad reality. A lot of businesses reach a plateau. They reach a static position. They get the same results year after year after year. Some of you are not running a business. Some of you have a job. And if you don't show up, the job don't work. And if you, and there's only so many hours in a day, and there's no scalability in this, therefore it can't explode. There's only one of you. You may be able to sign on a bigger contract. You may be able to sign on a few more people, but the true reality is it just can't explode because there's not enough manpower. There's not enough scaling power. So let's start tonight's webinar. I'm assuming you're here because you're frustrated. I'm assuming you're here because you want to play at a higher level. I'm assuming you're because you at least like this little bald-headed pit bull and you believe that he could help you grow a business. I am just like you. I am trying to explode a business from 5 or 6 million to 20 million. Okay. And I have willed and pushed and driven and showed up early and stayed late and sold every day for 12 or 13 years to push this thing to a certain level. And in my arena, I am in the top 0.001% of money earners in the coaching profession in the world. But it's nowhere near of where I'm trying to get to, which is to get to 10 million and then get to 20 million and then get to 40 million. So I spend a lot of my time, just like you, frustrated. How do I work my way out of this box? How do I find a honey hole? How do I explode and become an international person? I call my guys in New York City, my media team. I'm like, I got to become famous, man. You got to help me become famous. I got to get to, here's what they tell me. You are becoming famous. I'm like, well, shoot, that don't help me. Like, I'm like, well, it's got to happen faster. And they're like, well, you were just a basketball coach 12 years ago, like relax. And I'm like, well, man, I don't know how to relax. So here's some challenges. Okay. I want you to write these 3 challenges down. And if somebody wants to take notes, here's 3 challenges that you have when it comes to the explosion of your business. Number 1, you've most likely reached what's called a ceiling of complexity. A ceiling of complexity. And that ceiling of complexity is a term I learned under Dan Sullivan, who I was in strategic coach for 3 years. And he talked a lot about ceilings of complexity. And this is a no man's land. Okay. If you hear a Brandon Dawson talk about this, he talks about you're probably the smartest person in your whole company. If you're doing 5 million a year, you're probably the smartest person in your whole company. And if you're the smartest person in your whole company, the reason you can't go to another level is because you don't know how to get to another level. And without bringing in a smart person, okay, this is something I really want you guys thinking about. Many of you need to be reaching out to somebody who's smarter than you. So you've reached what's called a ceiling of complexity. It's complex because you don't know how to get out of it. It's like you're caught in the kids, I could call it the rat race. Okay. Number 2, you are confused about what your next moves are. You know, when I was speaking a few weeks ago at Cody Askin's event, Patrick Bet-David was there, and Patrick Bet-David wrote a book called Your Next 5 Moves. Great exercise to sit down and map out your next 5 moves. But most likely you're here because you're confused. And confusion is randomness in motion. Okay. It is where you're confused. And because you're confused, you just don't know which door to go in. I try this and that works a little bit. And I try this and that works a little bit. And I try this. And at the end of the day, dadgummit, I'm just right back where I was a minute ago. And I'm frustrated by it. Right. So the second problem you got is there's a confusion. And the third thing you've got a frustration. And the frustration is you're working harder but you're not earning any more income. So you get up and you go into battle. You work really, really hard, most likely involved in a lot of low value activity. It really doesn't move you toward your B. And we're going to get into some of that confusion tonight. And so you're just frustrated, man. Like, how do I get out of this hamster wheel? And I had a guy tell me once that he's like, Coach, you're going to go do all this stuff you talk about in your books. You're going to become a person of interest, and you're going to wake up one day and you're going to hate your business. And I'm like, man, I would never hate my business. Like, what do you mean? I love coaching people. I love people. I love coaching people. And then I rode over one day, Jason Wheeler and John Harlow and Eric Tibbs. And I told my wife, I said, God, I hate this business. I don't hate the people. I hated the structure of the business. It's too dependent on me, right? I got to show up and motivate everybody. I got to run the sales department. I got to go out here and be the marketing machine. I got to do all this stuff. And I'm like, man, the business, I got to start thinking like an owner of a company versus an operator, right? You think it'd be great to own a Chick-fil-A till you find out you got to operate the Chick-fil-A. You think it'd be great to own the Dairy Queen till you got to operate the Dairy Queen. So some of you have bought yourself a job, right? You don't really own a business. Therefore, you can't figure out how to scale that business. And this is very, very important. It's right. RJ Grimshaw, The E-Myth, is a book that a lot of people read. Many of them read it, but then they never do anything with it, right? So what are some of the confusions? Okay, I want you to write these 4 things down, because when I'm coaching a person, these are 4 confusions I see. And this is preliminary work before we get into these 5 things to explode a business. Number 1 is you're not clear about your B. Okay, I like to, this is the most simple exercise I teach people, but it's real simple. You're at A. If you sat down tonight and you mapped out, I did this morning, you map out everything that you're frustrated with about your business. You need a person here. You need 3 people here. You don't like this. You can't get 2, right? You just sit down and you map it all out. That's A. A is where you currently are. There's a structural tension. There's a frustration. B is some desired outcome that you would like to get to. Is it a tangible number? For me, it may be 10 million. It may be, a million of passive income per year. That's why I've got my accountant breaking down all of my passive income right now. How much money does it really cost me to live? Right? Like, I'm breaking all these things down because I want to know where are my passive income plays? What if I could get the lodge to $250,000 a year? What if I could get my ancillary businesses to $250,000 to $500,000 a year? What if I could get this thing going, right? There's all these things that are just loose that you could get going, but you first have to start with, what is my B? Which is some tangible outcome I'm trying to drive. Most people are confused when I ask them what their B is. So they wake up and they take very low level activity. They get caught up in all kinds of majoring into minors. They spend a lot of time doing low value activity because they're not clear about their B. That's number 1. Okay, this is what I call a confusion. This is a randomness in motion. Number 2, you don't have the knowledge you need, man. You don't know how to do what you're trying to do. Okay, I think about all the things I'm trying to do right now, trying to open a greatness factory, trying to scale greatness factories, trying to open a greatness factory for kids, trying to get to 10 million. Some of these things, folks, you can say, look, man, I don't know how to do it. You don't have the knowledge you need. And this is an awareness of you just getting real and saying, look, man, I don't know how to do it. But here's the good news. Somebody does know how to do it. Okay. So have you reached out to that person? Have you decided who can coach you to do it? Have you spent a day with a person who is doing it? Number 3, you don't have the skill to do it. And this is a big problem for a lot of people, man. They got big dreams and limited skills. You just don't have the skill level that you need to scale up and explode the business. I have a saying, you hear people say, it's not what you know, it's not what you knew, it's who you know. I say, when you get there, you better know. Because if I can get you in the room, if I can get you on the stage, if I can get you on the right, number 1, you got to have the skill, man. Money doesn't buy you freedom. Skills buys you freedom. The stronger the skill, the more money you're going to make. The weaker the skill, the less money you're going to make. Your money you're making right now. I want you to look at how much money you're making. Your income is in direct proportion to your skill set. The market never lies. So if you're frustrated with your income, you ought to be frustrated with you. That's just telling you your skills are not very good. Your selling skills are not good. Your articulation skills are not that good. Your closing skills are not that good. Your negotiation skills may not be that good. So one confusion you got is you're not clear about your B. 2, you don't have the knowledge you really need to get there. Number 3, you don't have the skill to get there. Number 4, you don't have the prey drive to get there. What are you willing to give up to get something, man? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to get up earlier in the morning? Are you willing to stay later? Are you willing to make more phone calls? What are you willing to do to get there? And, you know, I specialize in the prey drive and activation of prey drive. And the final one is you don't have the confidence to get there. Okay. And somebody asked me one day about imposter syndrome, and they asked me, what were my thoughts on imposter syndrome? And, you know, Ryan, I've never experienced imposter syndrome. If there's anything I've experienced, it's seeing somebody else play at a higher level than me and me knowing I'm just as talented as that dude is. Now, what has he got that I don't have? Okay. So confidence is a belief in you that success is not just reserved for some people, it's reserved for everybody. See, a lot of people look at it as if it's success for the lucky and the strong, man. It ain't reserved for me. Like, he could have it, but I could never have it. He's better than I am. He's more talented than I am. Okay. So if we were summing these things up, Chris, just look at it, man. You're not clear about your B. You don't have the knowledge you need. You don't have the skill you need. You don't have the prey drive you need, or you don't have the confidence that you need. Now, let's look at some checkpoints here. And then we're about to get into these 5 things to explode the business. Number 1, can the vehicle that you're in its current capacity, explode up? Can the vehicle, okay? My buddy Tommy Davidson came to me once. He said, man, I want to make, I don't know what he told me, 500,000 selling real estate. And I said, man, you can't do it. You can't do it as a single real estate agent. I'm like, you can get to 48 deals, maybe 50. You can't get to 500. Okay. So what did he do? He went out, he hired 18 people. He got young kids. They make 300 phone calls a day. He goes from doing 48 deals to doing 300 deals. So the first question is the vehicle, and the vehicle is the business you've chosen to get into that could scale up. If you were asking me what could explode in my business, my online academy could explode. The greatness factories could explode. The speaking engagements could explode, but that's limited to time. I start looking at what areas of the business could blow up, right? What kind of vehicle are we in? Okay. So number 1, can the vehicle get you there in its current state? You can't drive to Hawaii, folks. You can fly, you can take a boat, you can take a ship, but you cannot drive to Hawaii. Now, why am I telling you this? I look at some people, I'm like, man, you're a single owner, solopreneur. You got no help. You got no people around you. You got no marketing. You got nobody selling every day. You got nobody following up on the leads. Man, you can't get there like this. Like, you can only get to a certain level to the next level, right? And this is a business decision. Every person on this call tonight's got to make a decision, man. Do you stay small and keep more money in your mind? That's probably the way you're thinking. Do you stay small and keep more money? Or do you build an enterprise? Like, I could make $1 million a year speaking, coaching, right, with one assistant, probably. I can't make 10 million. I can't get to 20 million without the right marketing, without the right sales force, without the right stone cold killer machines, without the right business manager. So right now I'm looking at interviewing business managers, right? I'm looking at bringing on more sales force. I'm looking at who can set up contracts when people come in. Like, these are structural things to explode a business. Okay. Now, number 2, when you're looking at the business structure. So am I in the right vehicle? Number 2, if you were writing down tonight, what does your business structure need? Okay. I need a great business manager. I need an incredible marketing animal. I need stone cold killing follow-up machine, closing people. I need probably someone to set up contracts when we sign them on. I probably need 2 assistants, full-time assistants servicing the demand I have. Like, if I sat down and just wrote it up, now it's like, here's the catch, folks. You get stuck. and you get stuck at a pretty good level. It's like, well, it's going to take time and energy. And we hired 3 and 2 of them turned out to be bozos. And this one quit on us and this one screwed us over. So, why go through all that mess again? Why don't we just stay here because we're doing good? Folks, this is where you got to get frustrated enough to say good is the enemy of great. Just remember what I said. You can get to a certain point, but you can't get to another point. Okay. So at some point you got to sit down and you got to tackle these issues. Okay. Number 3, how do you build more demand for your business right now? Okay. And if I were building demand, I would go through, do you have a selling system in place? Okay. Do you have a great explanation of service? Do you have a world-class selling system? Do you have a 7-touch system? Are you extracting business out of your current book of business? Like there's so much more demand you could probably just squeeze out and suck out of what you currently got, man, that you're not doing. There's one thing that I think we are good at with the small team that I have is I think we're pretty good. I'd give us about a 6. I know Eric White's on here. I'd give us about a 6 on extracting the value out of the network. I think we can get better, but I think we're better than most people. Okay. Of just taking a network of people and just sucking out the opportunity in it. Okay. So how are you going to create more demand? And number 4, what type of numbers are you working through in a week? What type of numbers are you working through in a week? Okay. I believe in the law of diffusion, and the law of diffusion tells me that if I get in front of 1,000 people, there's going to be 160 people who are open and inviting, that are early adopters and innovators. Then there's a whole percentage, 34% of people, right? That's 340%, 340 people that I got to go back to 3 to 7 times. Then there's another 340 people that I got to go back to 7 to 15 times. Then there's 16% of people, 160, that are deadbeats, man. They're losers. They ain't going to get it. Okay. I don't care how good you are. So guess what that tells me? Brian Thompson, I'll come back to number 3 is demand. Are you sucking out all the opportunity out of your current network? And very few people are, by the way. And so when you're thinking about numbers, how do I go through large numbers of people? See, one of the reasons I'm doing this webinar tonight, we've got 141 people on here. We'll end up by the time we show it on YouTube of thousands of people watching it, is I got to go through a lot of duds to find the studs, man. I got to go through a lot of duds to find the studs. Some of you are not even going through close to enough people to hit the numbers you're trying to hit with your business. You need large numbers of people, okay, based on the law of diffusion. Just remember what I just told you. For every 1,000 people you get in front of, 160 are going to be open and inviting to seeing it 1 to 3 times and taking action. 340 people are going to need to see it 3 to 7 times. Another 340 are going to have to need to see it 7 to 15 times. Man, this is a lot. So if you said, Coach, where are you missing? I think we're targeting and retargeting, but we could do better with the data. As you're collecting data, think about this. Amazon became world-class at collecting your data and then retargeting that data and then offering more options to that data. So everywhere you go, you need to be collecting information, and you need to be working and reworking that number. And I think we could have a whole department that does nothing but rehash those thousands of people that come in. Okay. And that's called the law of diffusion. Okay. If you're out there and you're listening, it's called the law of diffusion. So when I'm looking at your checkpoints to explode, this is before we even get into the 5. Number 1, can your vehicle get you there? Some of you in your current state cannot. You're too small. You don't have enough manpower. You can't explode the business right now. That's your biggest problem. Number 2, the structure of your business is not set up for you to explode. Okay. You don't have key people in place for explosion of the business. Some of your sales managers, you got average salespeople. They don't work a selling system every day. They don't follow up like they should every day. They don't have a high pay drive, and you're sitting there going, man, why are we not exploded? Because you got a bunch of average players, folks. My last season, I was 22-10. I was the best. That was the best coaching job I ever did. And I only won 22 games. Why? Because I had average players. I was 38-3 the year before. Why? Players were better. So same thing is true in business. You got average players, you're going to get average results. Okay. So you got to get better at what? Recruiting. And I got to get better at recruiting. Number 3, are you sucking out all the demand and opportunity from your current book of business? I mean, really working the networks and relationships. If you saw my remarkable, I constantly mental map relationships I need to go deeper with. I need to get in there with. I need to be right there with. We need to service at a higher level. And number 4, are you going through enough numbers? So let's stop right here. And I want you to put right now one thing that you've already gotten from tonight's webinar on exploding your business, that you've already identified a missing structure. Okay. What is one thing you've already identified tonight that's a missing structure? This is before we get into the 5 big strategies. Okay. John, I need a killer marketing person. That's right. You need an animal, man. I think I need an animal as a business manager and an animal as my marketing person. Lynn Lewis said people. Jen, good. Confidence, higher quality team. Number 3 was demand. My boutique cannot scale it. Yep. There you go. Ryan, track your metrics. See, we're already getting good stuff out of tonight, man. Okay. If you're looking for your business to explode, let's start by filling the missing structures. Okay. And the missing structures are voids, gap. Here's the worst part. Most of us know what they are. It's like, man, what are we doing? It's like, go get a person. That's the problem. Go find them. 7 billion people on the planet. All right. Now let's get into these 5 strategies to explode. There's a lot of strategies to explode. I spend a lot of time studying and deconstructing people who have exploded to a higher level. A lot of times in my industry of coaching, but I look at all types of industries. We coach a lot of insurance, real estate, mortgage, health, anywhere where there's lots of saturation and large numbers of people. So I actually study people who have exploded and then deconstruct what they've done. Okay. Now I'm going to give you 5 things that I think can help explode your business. And then I'll unpack these. Number 1, strategy to explode: proximity and exposure to scale. Okay. Number 1, proximity and exposure. Now here's what I mean by that. When you are around people who have exploded their business, they think different about when they make money. Okay. I remember being around Bradley, and Bradley said, man, when you make money, you're looking at it all wrong. You should use money to make more money. You shouldn't use money to sit on the money, right? You shouldn't make money and hold on to that money. You should actually make money and then use it to make more money. You use money as a tool. I look at my buddy Judge Graham in Texas that just sold a company for $989 million. Okay. I look at people. I look at having a conversation years ago with Cardone when he said to me, your market is planet Earth. Quit thinking your market is local. Okay. Part of exploding a business is getting in close proximity to someone who has scaled up a business, who has exploded a business, and just asking very simple question, man, what did you do? Well, I took all my stuff online. Well, I added a sales team of 50. Well, I did this. Well, I made some key decisions. Well, I torched the business. Well, I started with the end in mind. I built it to sell. Like when you think about this, part of it is proximity and exposure to scale. Some of you are grinders. You're just grinders, man. You just go out there and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you never take a step back, and you never say, who in my industry? I want you to write down right now, type in a name of a person in your industry that has scaled and exploded their business. And I want you to write down one thing that's obvious they're doing. I want you to type in one thing that they're doing that you're not doing. Okay. Jonathan Jones said, Josh, what's one thing? Who is it? And what have they done that you're not doing? Okay. Dan Valentine. Yep. All right. Then I want you to write, like put in there. What have they done? What have they done that you should be doing? Just look at what it is here. Okay. Touched a lot of people. Okay. Because this is what you ought to be asking yourself. More conversations. First question you should be asking yourself is, who do I get close proximity to? And how do I ask them just the simple questions? Okay. What are you doing that I'm not doing? Okay. So step 1 is proximity and exposure to scale. You look at a guy like Tommy Davidson, who's a real estate guy. What he did is add people. He's spending $18,000 a month on leads, and he added people. That's really all he did, right? He added 18 people, and he, right? Don Rain said, I'm a lone wolf. Look, here's the deal, man. A lone wolf can only go so far. So when you're thinking about this, you're going to need people or money or technology to scale something. You're going to need more people. You're going to have to spend more money, or you're going to have more technology. Okay. All right. So number one, for me at 31 years old, man, I walked into a bookstore and I bought a book called How to Grow Your Financial IQ, written by Sharon Lechter, who's now one of my buddies. She scaled Robert Kiyosaki's company, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So what do? I get on a plane, I fly to Scottsdale. I go out to dinner with Sharon Lechter and I say, how did you scale Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Okay, how did you scale Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Well, we did this, this, and this. We licensed the content. We went to content providers. We partnered with people. Okay, folks, they already did it. I don't need to reinvent it. Okay, so number one, you need proximity and exposure to people who have scaled. You need to spend a day with them. You need to pick their brain. You need to replicate what you see them doing. You need to quit using the word but. It'll work for Hoss Pratt, but it won't work for me. It'll work for Robert Kiyosaki, but it won't work for me. It'll work for that insurance dude. For all my insurance people on here, look at the people who created a system. The LEAP system, become your own bank, the power of zero. Okay, look at how they multiplied their systems. They're selling a system. They're not selling insurance. Look at our guy, Tom Love, that we worked with, who come up with the explanation of service concept, where he was just selling insurance. Then he started coaching insurance people. Then he gets a percentage of the money that his students go out and close deals on. That is scaling a business up. Then he gets a residual because he's in the insurance space. Man, that dude's a lot smarter than me. Hey, but not for long, folks, because you're going to see me make moves to get into residual plays, okay? And get into bigger plays where I'm building teams of people with residual revenue, okay? All right, number two, if you want to explode the business, I'm gonna come back to one thing, okay? Johnny and Lori, I'm gonna come back to one thing, man, skill. Money doesn't buy you freedom, skills buys you freedom. One problem you got that you can't explode the business is your skills are just not strong enough. Every person you mentioned that is operating at a higher frequency than you, tell me that their skills are not better than yours. They're better at opening, closing, communicating, follow up. Man, they're better at something. There's only 400 players in the NBA, folks. And the reason they make the big money is because they're just that good. Okay. When you go watch a pro perform, right? It's like me listening to Tim Grover, my buddy, and he's talking about, you go to an NBA game and you think, oh, you could do that. No, you can't. You can't do what they do. They are just that much better than you. So I want you to draw a direct correlation between how much money you're currently making and your explosion and your skill level. Okay. And I want you to think of a skill as a learned behavior. I didn't know, I had never sold in my life when I started my business at 31. I became a great salesman. Okay. But here's the deal. I was a great coach and a decent salesman. And then I said, I got to develop the skill of marketing. I got to get better at marketing. So then I ask a simple question, go back to number one. How do I get proximity to the best marketers in the world? How do I get in a room? How do I watch them? How do I replicate? Oh, they all do webinars. Oh, they all do free events. Oh, they all do their own conferences. Oh, they're all writing books. Oh, they're all doing this. Folks, some of you have the model right in front of your face, but you won't go do what they're telling you to do. Okay. Doug Wood has been telling my wife exactly what to do in the health business. This is exactly what you got to do. You got to do exactly like this. And it probably took a year before Natalie finally said, after this last conference, I'm going to, whatever Doug tells me, I'm going to do it exactly the way he tells me, right? Probably took her a year to come to that realization. Okay. But at some point, number two, so the skill is, how many of you are the smartest person in your company? Okay. And you're sitting there trying to go from 5 to 10 million and you never got to 10 million. You're sitting there trying to go to the next level. You don't know how to get there. Okay. I'm going to go back to a coaching example. When I was a high school basketball coach, I got to the same place every year. I got beat by the same people. And I went home and got mad and came back and did it all over. Finally, after 7 years of this, Eric Tibbs, Jeanette Hurst, Jaime, after 7 years, you know what I did? I finally sat down with 6 dudes that had kicked my butt. And I'm like, tell me what I'm not doing. And they said, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. These are 3 simple things you got to do, man. And the very next year I won a championship. Okay. So here's the deal. You want to make $10 million. You need somebody who's been to 10 million. You need to go to somebody who's done it and you need to say, what skills do I need to get to this next? Oh, you got to be a better marketer. Oh, you got to be a better salesman. Oh, you got to learn to follow up and close better. Okay. Skill is number 2 to explode the business. Number three, when it comes to scale, I want you to think about these missing structures. Okay. We're going to just call this scale. We're going to call this scale. Okay. And we're going to put number 1, people. People. Okay. We need more people to scale something. If you look at a Doug Wood at Optavia or a Dan Valentine, or you look at the top insurance people like a Milet or a Patrick Bet-David, look at what they got, man. They got 15,000 people, 20,000 people, 30,000 people, 50,000 people. Okay. So what does this lead us to believe? Man, if I want to explode the business, I got to become an incredible what, folks? Recruiter. I gotta pick up the habit every day of recruiting. I've got to start getting in the mindset that I need more people. You heard me say you don't need more money, you need more people. Well, in this way, you got to choose an area. And this is very important. I saw Patrick Bet-David talk about this just the other day. He talked about choosing an arena. From 20 to 30, you need to choose an arena. And you need to have this long obedience in the same direction in that arena. Like you need to choose an arena and you need to go. And everywhere you go, you need to recruit people. And every day you need to be recruiting people and you need to be adding people to the equation. If you want to explode the business, like I said, look at Bet-David, Milet, Cardone. What have they all got, man? Thousands of people following them. They don't have 5 people following them. Okay, so what does that mean? You need to be in front of people, which is why you need to be doing showcase events, speaking engagements, strategic partnerships, webinars. You need to be writing books. You need to be doing Facebook Lives. You need to be in front of people constantly. And you need to have a message where you are recruiting people in. That's called affinity. And you need to have a great story of origin. This is why you need to go through our coaching when we're talking about the explanation of value and the story of origin. And we're teaching you how to tell a story correctly. Because, man, everybody in here has got to get better at recruiting. Can I get an amen on that from everybody? How many of you think you need to be a better recruiter? If you're going to scale something, you got to pick a lane and you got to go hard at this. And you got to get better at recruiting everywhere you go. If you ever follow me around, I wish, you guys that see me at Optavia convention, man, everywhere I go, man, I'm hugging on people, loving on people, saying hi to people, signing books with people, following back up with people, video messaging people. Everywhere I go, I have learned I got to be in the recruiting business, man. I don't need more money. I need more people. Some of you go out there and you're secret agents, man. You don't want to go to the conference. You don't want to be seen. You don't want to follow up with people. You don't want to, right? It's like, man, if you're going to explode, just look at it. You need money. You need people. You need technology. That's how you explode something, man. You need a bunch of people talking about you. You need a bunch of money that you're reinvesting in the business. Okay. And you need technology, man. You need to be pushing it out to the marketplace. Okay. If you don't think I could be doing something else on a Sunday night other than this right here, here's what I said. We need to sell tickets to the Monster Nation conference. We need to get people excited about Monster Nation. We need to get people in my person of interest courses. Hey, I'll add a webinar. My team's like, what? You going to add another webinar on a Sunday night? I'm like, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to get out in front of people, man. You don't need more money. You need more people. Dang, I need to write a book on that. The people have the money and the connections and the power to go tell other people. It ain't the referrals, it's the referrals from the referrals. I'm going to give old Ricky Caruth credit for that one. Now, so number 3, okay, so we got 3 ways to explode the business. Number 1, I got to get proximity. I got to get in close proximity to somebody who's done it, and I got to see it. It ain't enough to go to a workshop, okay, and hear it and see it. I need to get right in there with somebody and say, okay, show me how you did it. Show me what's under the hood. Show me how many people you got. Show me how you market yourself. Show me how you follow up. Show me how many people you're working with. That's number 1. I got to get proximity around it and among it, okay? Number 2, I got to get my skills better, man. I got to get my skills better. If I'm making $1 million a year or $2 million a year, that's nice. So that's good, right? Let me tell you something. Somebody's making 40 million a year doing the same thing. Okay. And that's because their skills are stronger. What are they better at? Are they better at connection? Are they better at articulation? Are they better at follow-up? Are they have more confidence? Okay. So number two, I gotta figure out what skill I need. Cardone said to me once, you're a great coach, but you're a bad marketer. Till you learn how to market, man, you're never going to be internationally known. Hank Norman, one of my media coaches in New York City, said, until you become vulnerable with people and show them the bad that goes on in your life, you're never going to connect to people at a deeper level. This is going to keep you from being a major star, coach. And I sat there that day and I'm like, you're right. Thank you for giving me that hard coaching, man. I got to skill up, man. Chris Rue calls it the skillionaire, or no, skills, right? I think Haas Pratt calls it skillionaire. Number three, I got to look at the scale of people. I got to pick an arena I can scale in, and I got to focus in one area. Okay. And I think the number one area we need to focus on is recruiting. Okay. I ask people all the time, their recruiting business. I've coached the number one people at Optavia. I've coached the number one people at number three and at Herbalife. I've coached all these top people, right? And number one, they're all great recruiters. Okay. All right. Number four. We're going to call this one relationships and boosters. When I sat down to do this exercise and I wrote it up on my Remarkable, I asked a simple question. When did my own career explode? Okay. When did my career explode? And it all comes back. It exploded when I won a championship, right? 10 years. It exploded when I spoke at 10X. Took me 8 or 9 years of building a relationship there. It exploded when I started building strategic partnerships. It exploded when I found a message that was differentiated from other people that I could be the best at. It exploded when I had a big revelation that every time I speak, it should be worth $250,000. Now, let's stop for a second and break these down. What it all comes back to is I'm going to call these relationships and boosters. Okay. Now, this is very important, what I'm about to tell you. We teach in our coaching program a concept called the top 25. And these are 25 stone cold killing relationships that can boost you. These people, see, in the old days, you win one person over, they introduce you to 2 or 3 people. In today's world, you win over the right people. You bring an X value to them. They introduce you to what's called new associations, which could be thousands of new people. Okay. I was at church this morning and a guy said to me, man, do you partner with this person and this person? Like, help me understand why you do this. I said, man, all the money is in strategic partnerships. All the money is in strategic partnerships. It is never going at it alone. It is in collaboration, not competition. And I equated it to like artists going on tour with each other. The new artist gets in front of the big artist's crowd. And next thing you know, the crowd gets to see the new artist. They see the number one hit. The next thing you know, they're on tour. There's a cycle to this. So I want you to think about these key relationships in your life that could really be boosters for you. And this is an area all of us could dig in. Okay, Chris, all of us could dig in right here. Okay. And when I was thinking about the advice I could give Eric on my team, I'm like, man, go deeper with about 10 different people. Go deeper with Al Stasic and Jay Kinder at EXP. Go deeper with Jimmy Franklin, the number one guy we're coaching. Go deeper with the Optavia group. Go deeper with the Paul Mitchell group. Like service them at such a high level. Like right here, it's like every person on here should build out their top 25 and understand a power network and understand how you each complement. So I was telling this guy at church this morning, he's like, well, why would y'all do that? And I'm like, man, it's like each of us have our own special skill set. Mine is Pray Drive. Tim's story is Comeback. Cardone is 10X. Bradley's the real Bradley, right? Sharon Lecter's Rich Dad Poor Dad, financial literacy. When we combine these things together, here's the problem. You don't build these strategic partnerships with people if you don't have, refer back to number 3, the strong enough skill set. They're not going to put a weak skill set person in the arena. They're not going to say, well, go get that dude. He's average. No, the top insurance people want to partner with the other top insurance people. The top real estate people want to partner with the top real estate people. So if you're not getting these opportunities, then it's a good indicator. It's a good indicator that, man, your skill set is not strong enough. Your person of interest score is too low. Now, here's the deal. I've tried to partner with Ed Milet on multiple things. He always texts me back. He's always cordial. He's always friendly. I got his personal cell number. He always gets back to me, but he's always like, well, I'm partnering with Tony Robbins on that. Well, I'm doing this with so-and-so, with me and Andy Frisella. What he's really saying in a nice way is, Coach, I just don't think you're at the level you need to yet, but you're going to get there. And I'm fighting for you. And I believe in you. And when you get to that level, the only way, and I learned this by winning a championship, the only way to get some people's attention is to do it so big they can't ignore you, man. You got to go out and get some kind of ridiculous result where they pay attention, because they don't pay attention until you get a ridiculous result. So when you ask me, Tom, Gavin, about going deeper, my idea of going deeper is first going deeper on you, right? Ryan Wimmer, it's like you need to go deeper on you. You need to get better. That way, therefore, then you have something to offer these other people. Okay. You don't have anything to offer. You don't get in the arena if you don't have anything to offer. And that goes right back to your skill set. It's like, well, why are you not in the big kids room or the cool kids room? Man, because your skills are too weak. So number 4 of explosion, all of your explosion is going to come through other people, man. I'm telling you, it's not going to come through you. It's going to come through you, through a connection to somebody. And that somebody is going to introduce you to more people. And you don't need more money, you need more people, right? So it's like I think about, how did I get in front of all the Optavia people? Well, I spoke at 10X because of my relationship with Cardone. We sold made $1 million in an hour over the course of a period of time, right? Then I picked up Doug Wood, who was the #1 guy at Optavia. He sought me out to be his coach. Doug introduced me to everybody else. Next thing you know, I'm coaching 2,000 Optavia people. I picked up I spoke in Houston, Texas, opening a greatness factory. It's very important. Who came to that? The #1 EXP agent in the world, Jimmy Franklin. He's never had a coach, 66 years old. He likes me. He hires me to be his coach. Now I'm coaching the #1 EXP agent in the world and his team. Well, guess who else you get? Then you start picking up all these other people. Why? Number 4 is relationships. Relationships and boosters. So if you get one assignment tonight from this one, sit down and map out 10 people who can help you. And literally mental map out 10 people who can help you. And what can you bring to their life? Okay. That they can help you with. Okay. And follow up with those freaking people, Rob's, like crazy. Follow up with those people like crazy. Through my relationship with Cody Askins. Cody Askins saw me speak at 10X. Called me, put me on stage at the first one. We delivered. Then he invited me back 4 or 5 straight times to speak at 8%. Every time I go back, I get in front of new people. From those people, I meet those people. Those people introduce me to the top people at Symmetry, at top people at Integrity, top people at M&O, top people here, top people here. The next thing you know, man, I'm in front of all the top people. Okay. This is very important that you understand this, man. Because if you travel with me for a day, you would see how hard I work at number 4. I think everything comes down to collaboration. And I ask people, would you like to collaborate? Nope. Me and Dr. Kevin Elko are doing things now. I reached out and said, man, you and I should be doing things. What? Okay. That's connection. That's connection. Okay. All right. Number 5. And if my buddy Matt Monero was on here tonight, he would be so proud of me including this. Some of you to explode need to torch your business model. Okay. Let's just call it what it is, man. What you're doing ain't working. Okay. And it ain't working to the point that you're so frustrated that you literally made us need to burn the business down and start over. Matt Monero, my good friend that wrote You Need More Money, did this at 170 million, maybe. He hated the business. He hated the model. He hated the people. They hated him. And the dude had the guts to just burn the whole thing down and start over, man, which takes a lot of guts, by the way. So some of you are out there and you've been going down this path, and it's like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank says you need to take this business out behind the back and kill it and shoot it. Okay. And I hate to tell you that, but it's true. Some of you are in a business model that you just can't, you can't get there, man. And it's not working. And it's a good model that you can make a little bit of money in, but until you make some major structural changes, until you skill up, right? Until you get around people who have exploded a business, until you start doing these things, you are going to play at a very amateur level, right? I opened a little business in my hometown of Woodbury, Tennessee, a little greatness factory. And I thought, man, I'm going to go back. Surely to goodness, we can make it work. And man, I just couldn't make it work. I wouldn't devote enough time to it. I couldn't find the right person to run it. And it was the right intention and the wrong business model. Okay. So I sold it, made a profit on the real estate. It was a good real estate investment. And then I moved on. But I can't tell you how many times my wife and I would sit there and have the conversation like, what are you doing? Like, let it go. It ain't working. There's parts of your business right now that you hate. I can think of 3 parts of my business that I hate. You just need to freaking let it go. Tonight, you need to take it out back and you say, it's over. I'm letting it go. Can't scale it. It's frustrated. I'm done with this part of the business. Some of you just need to torch the business, folks, because it just ain't working. Okay. So when you're thinking about this, Tia, since 8%, I'm restarting from the bottom up, I'm going to pass myself. Good for you. Some of you just need to be honest, man. I'm sitting there looking at your business and I'm going, man, what are you doing? Like, this is terrible. It's a terrible business. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, man. It just can't get there. Okay. Now I'm going to finish with this and then I'll take any questions that you have. I sit down and I'm gonna take my screen out of the equation so you can see my notes. Okay. All right. Johnny said that's what we did. So I'm gonna just show you. Take this filter off the background so you can see. I'm in my home office tonight. Get some Facebook messages here. Let's see here. All right. Now I'm going to show you, I did this exercise today and I really want to show you. Okay. If you see there's an A there. Okay. And that A, I sat down this morning. I do this typically every week. And I literally sit down and write up all the things that are currently prohibiting the explosion of my business. I'm spending time doing this, hate that, man, this keeps me up at night. Man, I need one of these people. Man, this is a constant frustration. Man, this is taking too much time and producing too little money. Man, this ain't working like it's supposed to. And I wrote down 10 things that I hate. I'm like, man, I hate these things. And hate is a strong word to use, folks, but that's the word I used. I'm like, I hate these things. Hate these things about my business. It's my business. Then I wrote down B, passive, fun, business manager, 10 million, raising capital, own these things, this much passive income, explosion in these areas. Man, I'm just sitting there drawing it up. Now, between A and B, okay, here's A. Between A and B is a gap. And in that gap are decisions that you got to make. And that word decide means to kill something off. So you say, what decisions do we need to make? Let's just go back and recap. Number 1, I'm going to pick up the phone and reach out to a person who I know can help me, who has done what I want to do. I'm going to hire the people I need to get me to the next level. I'm going to skill up in areas I know I got to get better at. For me, it's marketing. Okay. I'm going to recruit people everywhere I go because I understand the power and need for people. Okay. I'm going to work my 10 to 15 to 20 core relationships, my relationships and my boosters. And I'm going to torch areas of the business that are sucking the life out of me, that I hate with the passion, that are not getting me closer to my B. Okay. I'm going to eliminate the confusions. What did I say about the confusions? I'm not clear about my B. I don't have the knowledge I need. I don't have the skill I need. I don't have the prey drive I need, or I don't have the confidence. And when you add all that up, that is placing you, it's what called those ceilings of complexity, confusion of next move, and a frustration. You're working harder, but not smarter. Okay. So the purpose of tonight was to give you a little bit of a roadmap. Here's where I am. Here's where I'd like to go. Okay. Now, some of you are going to say, how can I determine or predict when this business is going to explode? Here's the bad part. I don't know that you can. when you look at people who have exploded, it's like cycles of time where they're learning something, learning something, learning something, learning something, peak up, dip, peak up, and then all of a sudden something happens, typically through a relationship. I was watching the Ron Clark story as I'm thinking about this greatness factor for kids. And what changed Ron Clark's life is he went on Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey held his book up and said, you got to buy this dude's book. And that helped him go start his school in Atlanta, Georgia, the Ron Clark Academy. Man, it was a peak up moment. But the dude taught for 5 years. T.D. Jakes taught in a pastored a church with 100 people for 10 years, 100, before he went and started Potter's House. Look at Jordan, the number of years he went before he won a championship. Look at Cardone before he's 51 years old, before he exploded. Look at, right? So you don't know what's going to do it. All you can do is put these things together and go, boom, something catches that you didn't know, and we take off to another level. Now, I got one ask tonight, guys. If you're on here and you follow me, I'm having my first conference ever in Nashville, Tennessee, September the 9th through the 11th. I'm bringing in 8- and 9-figure business owners. I am a big believer in proximity, getting in the room with people, asking questions. So I've chosen to keep this intimate and impactful, 150 to 300 people. Okay. And that's what I've chosen to do for this first conference. Small numbers, high impact, great presenters. Most of these people have scaled up a business to thousands of people. They know how to do what we talked about tonight. They are the best. I have hand selected every speaker that is speaking at my conference. Okay. And I've had people from all over the world call me and want to speak at it, man. Can I speak at it? Can I speak at it? I've hand selected the people I want there, man. Only people that I want to learn from. So if you're here tonight and you're interested in joining us in Nashville, I want you to email eric@coachburt.com. We're running a lot of specials. I'm not going to get into all of them tonight, but if you got teams, we're running specials for teams at like $297 a person. If you're a health coach, we're running specials for health coaches. We're doing 2 for 1 on the general admission, the $497 tickets. So if you're out there and you want to go to Monster Nation, I really, really encourage you. And you say, man, what changed the deal for you? 2012 changed for me. I was in Riviera Maya, Mexico. I was there with my girlfriend at the time, Natalie. I was doing a conference with Grant Cardone. I'm out by the pool. We literally coached for 3 hours, literally went to the pool for 6 hours and drank tequila and literally went up to dinner together, 5 straight nights. Brad Lee and Melissa, Matt Monero and his wife. I think, I don't remember if RJ Grimshaw was there, but he was at one of the 10X things I went to, right? We literally did that over and over and over. Thank you, John Wetmore. Right. And I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I'm out there talking about Nashville. I'm going to go back to Nashville. I'm going to 10X my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Right. And it's like, he's like, man, he just looked at me right in the eyes and he said, man, quit talking about Nashville. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, your market is planet Earth. Go back and figure out whatever you got to do to sell your coaching services to anybody on the planet. That was in 2012. I came back. I added live streaming. You know, we now have clients and partners in Dubai, London, Singapore, Scotland. Like that one comment in a direct manner to me got me thinking so much bigger about my life and my business. Where does that go back to? Exposure, man. Number one, you scale up and explode a business by being in proximity to somebody exploding a business. Okay. So hope this has been good for you tonight. I'd love to see you at Monster Nation. It's going to be an incredible conference. I like to bring as much value as I can. I coach people all day, every day, all over the world, from small businesses to multi-billion-dollar companies. I bring a system and a structure and a prey drive about me to help you really go do it. All I've ever done my whole life is coach people, man. So thank you for coming tonight. If you got any questions, just type them in. It's been a great webinar, I think. There's some actions we got to take, man. We got to quit playing, quit talking about it, start being about it. Okay, good, guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for walking the talk. That's right, man. You ever catch me not walking my talk? Let me know. Okay. Thank you, Sadina. Thank you, Rob. Jaime, good to see you. Victoria, you guys are awesome. 8%. Let's see there. Okay. 8% in the house tonight. I like that. All right, let me see a question here. Thank you, Melody. Thanks a ton, David. There you go, Renee. Blow that Herbalife up. I was drinking some Herbalife tonight. You don't know that right here in my drink. Yeah, I'll be down in Florida. Tim Roller, good to see you in person, man. All right. All right, guys. I got early morning in the morning. Thank you so much. God bless you. Everybody needs a coach in life. Tonight was good. Thank you so much. It was good for me just as much as it was for you. Preparing for you helped me. So God bless you. Hope to see you at Monster Nation. Eric at CoachBurt.com. He can get you signed up. He can get you on the roll. Come on, folks. Come to Nashville. Spend 3 days with him. I promise. You'll thank me later after you do that. Okay. God bless you guys. Have a great night tonight.